feel like I'm forgetting something. And if I forget it, then I will end up coming back to the garden in 5 seconds, which was not my plan. Also, pool people are supposed to show up today or tomorrow. They didn't say what day they were supposed to show up. And I feel super weird about the idea of filming with people here like that. So Seth and I were joking that the second I go outside, the second I come out here, that's when the pool people are going to show up. So I wasn't actually planning on going outside today. At least not right now, like not to actually get productive work done the way I should. I was planning on filming this tomorrow morning or something of that nature. And because Seth and I have to alternate mornings because we homeschool. So because we homeschool, we'll take turns with who gets to go outside what morning. Setting down the supplies. Hopefully this isn't too jiggly as you're walking with me on my camera stand. Anyhow, so we have to alternate mornings because we homeschool. So one morning he'll get to go outside and work, and the next morning I get to go outside and work. And this continues unless kids are on spring break or we're in the summer. And Seth is currently, as you can see, working on our fencing project all over and through here. And because of that, I mean, digging posts up is not easy work. It's not fun. And we do have a post hole thingy, but he's doing it all like that, or with the hand one. He alternates depending on what he feels like doing. And because of that, I've tried to give him a lot of room to kind of take over going outside in the morning. Most of the time it's me, because he doesn't have a lot of outdoor projects that he just does all the time, whereas I'm constantly out here gardening and doing things like that. But since we're redoing our landscaping and we're designing stuff, we're putting the fence in, and we're fully fencing in our property. Now everything is done down by our pasture, all the way across, all the way up this side and through the front, minus the driveway, which we're also going to gate too. We just need to do this side. So he's working on that, and it's getting hotter. It's South Carolina, deep south over here. It's May, and it gets hot first thing in the morning. So I've been like, hey, it's okay. You're doing a bunch of manual labor. You go out and you do your work, and I just need 2 days a week, one where I can go out and do chores, and 2 a day where I can go shoot the garden tours. And he came outside pretty early this morning, put 6 posts in. He was like, all right, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm worn out. So he came inside and was like, if you want to go outside. I was like, yes, I'll take it. Now, because of the fact that I was not intending to go outside, I'm actually wearing like a white sundress. That's just what I was wearing while I was inside homeschooling and doing indoor chores. My logical brain knows I could have just changed really quick. It would have taken 5 seconds. But my unlogical brain was like, I'm just going to put an apron on and we're going to see if I can do this without making too much of a mess. The odds are not in my favor. Typically, I do not wear white in the garden, because it's the garden. So I've got several random chores. Jackson, I'm talking. Don't be rude. I've got several random chores to do this morning. My sheep. Including planting these potatoes. Including planting in these potatoes. So that's what we're going to do. So when you cut up potatoes, I typically shoot for 1-inch pieces or bigger, and you just want a solid amount of eyes on them. I let them cure on the counter for a day or so, and then they're good to go in. I'm doing several of these on the outside of the bed. I'm placing these about 6 inches apart in here. And then I'm going to do a whole bunch down here as well. Sometimes I use this drill to dig up grass too. So it's very effective in that regard. So if you didn't know, I'm Natasha. This is Shepherd Pepper's Farm. Welcome to the channel. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with this drill? Stop tormenting me. Work, please. And I do intend to go back inside and finish the chores that I was doing. So we'll see how far we get with this. Ow! I'm gonna go ahead and plant these about 2 inches deep, cover them with soil, and then as they start to grow, I will add more soil on the top of this dirt and possibly even some mulch as they grow. But this is all very loose dirt in here, which is great for potatoes. So I like to lay them on the tops of the holes just so I can see where I've gotten everything, and then I'll come through and pat them down because I like to reassess if I feel like they're needing to be closer. You do want to plant the eyes downwards, which we can adjust that as I get done throwing these in here. This is called quick gardening. Where you know you have to get chores done, but you also know you need to do other things today. Oh, pole beans. Wrap around the poles. Please and thank you. All right, now I'm going to come through, push these in, cover them with dirt. I'm not planting these very deep because I'm going to, that's weird. I'm not planting these very deep because I'm going to add dirt into it. That's why this bed is also quite low. But you do want the eyes facing down ideally. Now this bed will not be dug up evenly because the ones on this side are obviously older and much more mature. So all right, potatoes are planted in, yay us. Now, my next plan is to go over and thin out those melons over on the side, but I saw this tomato and it looked like it needed encouragement to stay where I want it to. So I'm gonna trellis these up if they're needed. This guy looks like it could. Sometimes they're not quite tall enough to make the trellis, but I can grab a leaf and just nab it up there. And if I can do that, I will. And then obviously I'll release it when it gets a little bit taller. But sometimes it needs encouragement to not grow on the ground. So that's what we're doing, just in case, like this guy. It's funny, I see my neighbors doing stuff around their landscaping and things like that, and I want to go over and be like, hey, you shouldn't do that. Like certain trees that the person put in across the street, and they put the trees really close to their foundation, and those aren't trees that have, I mean, they're like a foot from their house at most. And certain trees you can plant close to the house, but it's really better if you use shrubbery. And every time we drive home from somewhere, I just look at their trees and I'm like, I know you paid a lot of money to put these trees in, but in 5 to 10 years, they're gonna start attacking your foundation and it's gonna crack, and it kills me. It kills me. And I wanna go say something, and Seth is like, Tasha, you can't just go giving people plant advice unless they've asked for it. They're gonna think it's rude. That's not how you start off a conversation. You don't go up to them and be like, hey, by the way, you're gonna ruin your foundation. Here's some cookies. So it's, well, plus we don't know them. And a lot of our neighbors aren't super friendly. I don't know why, because I'm not that way. Like I'm the type of neighbor who, when we first moved in, I would bake pies, like bring them to all the people who are around us, which is not much. There was like 2 people, but I'll go take a pie and be like, hi, I'm Natasha, you know, if you need anything, let me know. And I have one neighbor who we will chat sometimes, and she's lovely, but the other ones aren't really like that. I even took like a huge basket full of fresh lettuce from the garden to my neighbors across the way when they first moved in. I was like, hi, you know, I grow this lettuce organically. Like, I was wondering if you'd want some because I have too many. And they were like, no, that's okay. I was like, okay, sounds good. All right, so over and through here, this whole bed was seeded. Super, super, super heavy with seeds. You can see them all throughout here. These are all different types of melons. And so we're gonna have to probably talk a little bit here and talk a little bit there because of the neighbor. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come through and I'm going to thin these out. Welcome to real life, unfiltered gardening, where yes, we may have a big garden and some acreage, but we also have neighbors. So anyhow, so I'm gonna come through and thin these out. Melons, you really don't want more than 1 per square foot. So I'm probably gonna do more than 1 trimming of these, but I wanna make an initial trim of the melon seeds that we have that have sprouted right here. And then the ones that I can see that are developing the best, those are the ones we'll end up keeping. Like these ones are pretty small. So you can see this isn't a really special thing. I'm just kind of coming through and thinning them out. And it's hard. It's a hard thing for me to do, but in this circumstance, I know it'll be better if I do it. I know it will. It will, right? It will. All right, just like that. So this is the first batch of thinning that we'll do, and then I will come back to this and we'll see how it's doing afterwards. I'm going to cover this after we thin it though, because it'll help keep the pests off of these melons a little bit longer, which would be great given the fact that I don't want to battle with the bugs quite yet. So, massive thing of grass. Goodbye, Dolly. I'll take these over to the sheep in a little bit. You could eat these. Like, these melon starts are totally edible if you wanted to. The sheep will appreciate it. So I'm a sucker for a happy sheep. So once they get to about this size, that's when I'll start kind of singling them out a little bit more. I mean, like, you seem like you're doing the best, so I'm going to keep you and toss the rest of them. Yes, it is hard, but we can do this. It's the right thing to do, so we can do it. We're adults, and we can thin our seeds. So these are Santa Claus melons, which are just beautiful and amazing. Okay, that's a much more thinned out start. And we'll come back through and do it again in the future. All right. It's definitely hard to still leave so many, but in case things do get destroyed or ruined, it'll make me feel better to have some extras in here that are still decently large. Cannot believe how warm it is already. Alrighty, that's better. It's not perfect, but I don't need it to be perfect. I just need it to be good enough. And sometimes that's the way of it in gardening. It just has to be good enough. Now let's check on these cucumbers in front. All of these look really good. Besides the grass. Oh, I need to thin out the loofahs too. So with these, it's much easier since they have a lot of their first leaves, and that just makes it easier. I do sort of need to prune these tomatoes as well, so maybe I'll do that while we're out here, just get it done. So I talked about this already in one of the garden tours, but essentially when I'm pruning the tomatoes, I am just pruning these from the trellis downwards at this time because I don't want any sort of splashback to get on the leaves and then us have a powdery mildew, fungal, blight situation occur early. Anything that points too far down that it might touch the leaves is also out. And it's a vicious game we're playing, but we gotta do it. Get in here and just do it. I swear, sometimes you prune your tomatoes and they take it as a personal challenge and they're like, oh yeah, now I'm gonna grow where you prune me twice as hard. I'm gonna do a lot of my hot peppers in this bed. So I'm gonna drill a bunch of holes. I'm gonna space these one pepper plant roughly every 8 to 10 inches. The reason I do this is because peppers really hate having wet roots. It will stunt the plants and even kill them. Here we get not like a light misting of rain, we get torrential downpour. All at once we'll get 4 to 6 inches of rain. And although the soil drains well, it's still 4 to 6 inches of rain all at once. So by having the pepper plants somewhat closer together, it will help absorb that water. So it reduces my risk of having them have root rot and dying from these torrential downpours. It'll also help my fruiting to be better with that weather. So that's really good. That's awesome. Now it will compete a little bit for nutrients. Add some compost to it or some fish emulsion fertilizer as the season goes on. If we're seeing signs that it needs it, I'm not going to plan for it, but we'll treat it as needed. So, some grass in here and a squash bug. Oh, you're toast. Goodbye. Already, that's my first squash bug of the year because I moved the squash out of this bed. So, you suck. But that's what happens if it's uncovered. What are you going to do? Oh, there's another one. Die, demon bug, die. These got really waterlogged, so they're at a point where they need to not be at risk for overwatering from rain. So they need to be out of the cups and in this more sandy soil. Megatron, 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 Megatron. All right, I have to go get more peppers and then we will continue. You know, there's a third squash bug I saw on the plants, and that's enough right there to make me just like be done with the squash. Like, they're just terrible. Like, I cannot stand them. They're just wretched. The squash bugs are wretched. Awful, rotten beings. Okay, moving on. What are you? You're a sweet pepper. You don't belong. Okay. Alright, y'all. I hope you enjoyed spending some time out here in the garden with me this morning, getting some chores done. I will see you in the next one.